Earthlings? It is I, and this evening I will be answering the Google search questions beginning with the phrase, why are people la 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 la. So the first one asks, why are people gay? Well, this one is not a simple answer, really, by my standards at least, but um, I don't relate to this. I don't identify with this, so I'm going to try to supply my best answer. But if I had to answer that, I would say it's just people have a different feeling from what average people just feel. Like, I tend to think that naturally you're supposed to be attracted to the opposite, you know, of you so that you can continue existing. Like, in order for humans to exist and reproduce and all that. But some people, it appears, don't have that attraction. They don't feel attracted to, like average people do, like people on average do. So they find themselves having feelings for someone of their same kind, you know? Like I said, I'm having trouble answering this question because it's not something I relate to or something I identify with, but I want to be truthful about it. But um, it's not something that I understand, so I don't know what kind of answer to give that question. But I would say that um, in the event that the person has tried the, let's call it the traditional way, and it still doesn't work for them, I think they may be frustrated and they have an inclination to try something different and they discover that they like it, so they just continue to roll with it. But yeah, that was a pretty interesting question. I wish I would have pre-read the questions that were coming up because I was not prepared for that one. But then again, I never prepare for any of these, because I want my genuine first response to be recorded. So, anyways, why are people eating Tide Pods? Oh my God. Okay. So it's been a trend for the past few days now that people are eating Tide Pods. And I don't know if this started, if it has anything to do with like Dua Lipa's video where there's someone wearing orange and someone wearing blue, and that happens to be the Tide colors. I don't know if someone just made a meme out of that or if that has something to do with how this trend started. But really, the best answer I can give to that is people are eating Tide Pods because they are clearly bored and they're looking for attention, the wrong type of attention. And this is the new thing. You know, every year there's something that is being discussed, something that's on everybody's minds. A trend, you know, that's all it is. A way to make money, get views, get attention. So I guess that's why people are eating Tide Pods. Do I understand that? Nope. Do I see the logic behind it? Nope. Do I encourage you to do this? Nope. So they had to come out and say that, like, give an announcement to discourage people from eating Tide Pods. I cannot believe that I live in a time when that needs to be said. You know, yeah, it's just sad. Why are people so mean? Well, this is kind of a generic question, because I can't say that everybody who I know is mean. So, once again, this is another question that I cannot entirely relate to. I have met some people who I considered mean, but on average, more people are nice because being mean all the time can get you in trouble and the consequences can be quite severe. But if I had to answer that, we live in times when there's just a lot of stress going on and people don't seem to think about what they're doing and what they're saying, and they end up making decisions being guided by emotions, whatever those are initially. So maybe our perception of those people is that they are mean, but maybe they don't mean to be mean. It's just that they may be overwhelmed with something. And a lot of people do not sit down by themselves and introspect on ways to address that. So they may not even be aware that they're being perceived as mean by other people. Like, you think that behavioral stuff is common sense, but some people, if that's something that they have done all the time throughout their entire life and no one has corrected that for them, it becomes really difficult for them to even realize that their conduct is erroneous. So, really, that's what I would say about that one. But again, I have the fortune of not knowing mean people because I know better than to keep mean people close to me or being acquainted to them. But the mean people who I have encountered, they all have something in common. Normally, the solution to this is just kill them with kindness, and then they may become self aware that they're being just mean like that, and they follow your example because maybe you have a contagious attitude or something. So that's what I really believe. So, but I may be wrong. I overall like to give people more credit than they may deserve. I may come off as naive from time to time, but I really just like to believe the best of people until I'm proven otherwise. So, but anyways, let me know your thoughts. Why are people so stupid? Well, see, if I think about it from my point of view as a worker, I think it's just having a disconnection from reality. Like sometimes we get individuals who have unrealistic expectations of what we can supply them with. So that to me makes them stupid from time to time. But honestly, when you have a plan in your mind that you're not really thinking about the circumstances that must be present for that to be possible, you're just thinking about the end result. So you get irritated when you see that the possibility of you fulfilling it the way that you had visualized it is slim, you know? So I think people are stupid because they don't want to be in touch with reality. And that may make them sound like they cannot hold anything together, you know? But really, it's really rare that I say that someone is stupid because I think that I myself do stupid things and I consider myself more on the intelligent side, but somehow I still manage to do stupid things. So I guess it's just somewhere engraved in our human nature to just be stupid. But I like how the question says, why are people so stupid? So I'm actually intrigued about that one. I would click on it to see what the answers are, but I just don't want to contaminate my personal opinions. But yeah, I think sometimes people like to be stupid because they're just bored, and I can't believe how much the incidence of being bored is on the rise because there is so much to do in this planet or so much to listen to and watch in the internet especially. For me, when I get bored, it's usually because I'm lonely. Like, I just want to see someone and be with someone. So when I have that symptom, all I do is, reach out. But yeah, it's weird. Why are people racist? Oh my God, this is a quite a complicated question. But anyways, here we go. So the the easiest answer to this question definitely has to be that's just flat out ignorance. Um, it also comes from this sense of pride about your inheritance, I guess, and people try to be on top by being like, okay, my race is better than yours. So that's my pride. And even though all races have like their pluses, what makes them stand out, their own beauty and everything, you know, we're all seeing each other as competition. So I think um, really, it comes down to ignorance. That's really the best way that I can sum it up, and the best word that I can use for this situation. Um, and then again, because I don't think like that, it's really hard for me to be able to sit from the perspective of someone who acts that way to give an answer to that question. But as a third person, from a third person perspective, I would say that it's just ignorance, because no matter what race you are, if you're stuck in a gas chamber, you're going to die at some point. If you sink to the bottom of the ocean, like you will suffer from all the forces acting upon you. You're going to die too, you know. So so really, it comes down to ignorance. That's it. It's ignorance. Why are people ticklish? Well, people are ticklish simply because it's the sensitivity of your skin. Your skin has receptors to let you know that something is invading it, something is burning it, something is biting it, you know. So it's the body's mechanism of keeping you safe. Like the skin is the biggest organ in your body, and it pretty much um, wraps everything up that's important. So a tickle is a way of your skin telling you that something that has a funny texture is on you, or something that shouldn't be acting upon your skin like that is doing so. So really, a tickle is like an alarm being sent by your skin to your brain, letting you know that there's something in your skin that you need to address and determine whether it is a threat or if it's just something that's there, you know. But that's the way I think of it. I never thought about it. I just thought it's something that just needed to happen, you know, just like sneezing. You need to sneeze to get rid of junk in your nose, so, or stuff from reaching your lungs. So, why are people afraid of clowns? Well, my mom says that I used to be afraid of clowns. I kind of remember that, but at the same time, I don't, because currently I am not. But I would say it's because it's a human character, like a it has human features because a clown is a human, but something about the colors chosen, the way they dress, the way they speak, the way their nose is shaped, and their teeth, something about them is just terrifying because you have pretty colors enveloping a person who's not really that attractive looking. So maybe kids get intimidated by it because, you know, usually clowns are supposed to be friendly and hand you balloons or something. But when you really take a close look at them, they're questionable. So I think people are afraid of clowns because you just don't know their intentions um, at first glance. But then there's also been the trend of killer clowns, apparently. I don't know how true that is, but I think it's the perception of a clown that makes them frightening. So yeah, that's an interesting question. I know that people express being afraid of clowns, but I never stop to think about why. So this is a pretty good questionnaire thus far. Why are people jealous? Well, I think the best answer to this question is that jealousy stems from the fact that you might be afraid of losing something or someone. Like, if you see someone receiving attention from someone else and they respond positively to it, and let's say that this is a person you're dating, you will feel jealous because you're thinking, wow, this person is enjoying their time with someone else better than with me. So I feel like my position is being taken. I feel threatened. I feel like this person is here to take what to me I think is mine. As in, I don't want to think of a person as you can own a person, like a person is your property. But what I mean is, I'm with this person. I'm trying to start a family. I'm getting to know this person. You know, I'm intimate with this person, and then you're suddenly like like too close to them, it's like no, there is like a boundary that you just don't cross. So your mind perceives a person who who is kind of taking your place at that time as a threat. So that's why we have feelings of jealousy. It's like your way of trying to protect what's yours. So I personally, I have weird ways of being jealous. Like for the most part, I'm not a jealous person, but when I have my moments of anxiety or I just feel really lonely and sad, I tend to have an inclination for that. Like, it's like, oh man, is this it? You know, am I going from bad to worse right here? So really, it all comes down to people individually because the things that might make someone jealous, I may not be jealous like that. So it's something that it varies from person to person. So that's the main thing that you need to know, I would say. Why are people homeless? Well, this is an interesting question because I made a video the other day about are people, everybody who I see on the streets, are they all genuinely needy and homeless? And well, I guess if I had to assume that everyone is homeless because of factors that are out of their control, I would say because nowadays everything is expensive and the job market seems to be ever competitive. So if you don't have certain credentials, you cannot land a very good job. And if you're someone who was living kind of a lavish lifestyle and all of a sudden you see a reduction in your income or something happens to your family and you no longer have their support and collectively as a group that's how you guys were living the life that you were living, well, it's easy to end up homeless because it's like you wake up one morning and all of a sudden you have more debts than you can really pay off or something. Um, so I also think that the circumstance of a natural disaster could also be a reason why you're homeless and it takes you a long time to just recover from that. Even though I would think that the government or some organization out there would provide support or somehow protect you from that. But you know, it's not a guarantee that that's going to work for everybody. But I think it's a combination of unfortunate events along with very little support from your family or close ones or people who are supposed to be close to you. And then also, we got to consider that maybe it's mistakes on your part. How do you invest your money? Are you good at saving? Do you buy unnecessary things? Do you know how to get bargains? Do you get ripped off with the food that you buy? You know, because let's face it, you can sometimes get the same product for less at another place. Are you researching like you need to avoid falling on that trap? You know, sometimes people end up homeless because of a disability. Like, let's say that you end up on a wreck and you end up with some kind of injury, and most jobs that that accept you just for being a person willing to work, sometimes you need to be in optimal physical condition because the job is physically demanding. So nobody wants to hire someone who is high risk at getting injured. So when you don't have money coming in, that's how you end up homeless because it costs money to have a home and just live in general. So that's my honest opinion. I may be totally wrong and missing the point. So just know that that's just me speculating on the fly. And if you know better information, just let me know. And then, why are people allergic to cats? All right, well, in my personal experience, I have asthma. So I understand that it's not really the cat's fur that makes you sick like that. It's actually like their saliva, something about their saliva. So I feel like the reason you're allergic to it is because maybe that's a defense mechanism that they just naturally have, and you have to live with a cat to get used to it. But also, it could be that as a person who has a respiratory problem, I'm just more susceptible to their scent type of deal. You know what I mean? Because my current cat arrived shortly after the preceding one that I had. I really didn't suffer too much from allergies from them. But I remember when I got the cat that I had before this one, it took me a while to get used to him because it had been years since I had been exposed to a cat. So, really, I think it's a combination of you personally, and if you suffer from any respiratory problems, inhaling these whatever agents or pathogens, whatever that is, um, that these cats exude, then you're just more sensitive to it. All right, guys, that concludes that list of questions that showed up on my little query on Google on why are people da 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 da. Yeah, I phrased it differently just to get out of the monotony of why do this and that. So I may look up why do people and see if there's a significant difference in the list that comes up, and maybe I'll do like a second version of this. But anyways, what do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree with me? Do you have more info to supply? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you soon.